Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's daily brief recap. But I didn't even bother asking Kevin whether you were ready to go or not. Should we start this again? I guess I'll
No,
see
it's all
what.
good. We're ready to go.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
we are going. We're
We
live
are
now.
going awesome. If anything, that's the best part to have Kevin here is at least he keeps my nose clean. And I have to say, man, his friends, who he referred to TRIs, and then hopefully they'll become kick-ass traders. One of Kevin's buddies, who very good orator, very intelligent person, came on and did just a fantastic presentation on the daily brief today about NFTs. So wow, we were all blown away. Very very pro presentation. So I suppose if you're interested, check out TRI's 30-day trial if you want to come and check that out. And maybe that's enough of a sales pitch for you to go, gee whiz, this site's kind of cool. Maybe I'd like to join these people. Entirely up to you. I am pleased to see that a project that we've had on the go for a very, very long time is pretty much coming into fruition now. This dashboard and this DI trading system that I've been lamenting about for years. I'm not sure whether we're going to do much updates from this point on. I think the team would really like to concentrate on things like algorithms and stuff, so I think we'll probably just work with what we have for the time being. Um, but as I said, we had just absolutely beautiful presentation by a TRI site member. There he is, awesome hairdo. He was just an absolute over the top. Thank you, Chris. That was a great presentation today. Um, where should we take this conversation with you guys? I don't know whether I really want to get too much into the site tools. I think we'll just stick to a conversation here. I'm worried about how sort of they had to ram the COVID relief bill, all that kind of stuff through the U.S. government. So that's pretty much done now. We do have a big options expiry coming up, quarterly options expiry next Friday. In the U.S., I think there's probably a lot of positions that were put on and need to get squared up because last year, of course, 1 year ago, that was when basically all the end of the world happened. I guess the end of the 20th century world. I was shocked. I went into a bank yesterday and I really don't like this bank. I was an old options trader for them years ago. So that's probably one of the reasons why I still have my account there. But they've basically gotten rid of all their tellers. And they've all renovated the whole thing. You would never, if you went and walked into a bank 10 years ago and you walked into this bank yesterday, you wouldn't even think they were the same thing. And what really bothers me is some punk ass chump little immigrant guy who's probably been here in Canada for maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 years tops, uh, spitting attitude right, left, and center. Like, I grew up in a world where, I mean, it used to be adage, right? The customer is always right. Customer always comes first. Customer, customer, customer. When I'm on the site, you hear me constantly going on. Are you getting value? Do you feel like you're getting value for your time spent? Um, this little punk ass bitch, he didn't give a shit whether I was there or not. And you could see that he was fumbling away and he didn't really know what he was doing. And I had to ask him 2 or 3 times, do you want to maybe go get somebody who knows what they're doing here? Oh, no, 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 no. So, I mean, as a perfect anecdote of our future in the 21st century, maybe go visit your local bank branch and see what's actually happening in there. It's quite shocking. And it plays perfectly into this idea that COVID and this pandemic was completely planned. The 1% saw crypto and blockchain coming, especially within the banking industry, but this is going to be throughout our society. And basically, all the retail jobs, think bank clerks, those jobs aren't coming back, people. They're not. This is our new reality. And I believe that they used the pandemic to initiate this. And it's sort of like after the dust settled and we look back and we see this new world that we're living in, Oh, gee whiz, what a coincidence. Oh, man. Actually, it was interesting listening to Martin Armstrong. He was putting out some interesting interviews over the weekend. And he also believes that there's just too many coincidences that are going on here to make you actually believe that this is just, business as usual. There's definitely a plan in place here by the Gateses and the Bezoses of the world. And it's sad because, us little people, there's not really much we can do about this. And this is actually the same as 9/11, where I think if you look back in history, it was blatantly obvious that the U.S. government knew that 9/11 was in the works, and they just didn't do anything to stop it. It worked well for the people that were in charge. It helped their agenda. And basically, poor Iraqi people, man. How many? Like 300,000 Iraqi citizens basically had to die needlessly there because of the eventual fallout of that 9/11 event. And who knows how many Afghanis and, CIA projects around the world, people dying right, left, and center. So, it's a sad commentary on the world that we live in. Interesting, though, as sort of an aside to this, you better get used to this new world that these one percenters have decided that we're going to live in. I have to say, today's presentation by Chris about NFTs and the evolution of things like the digital media industry and the music industry and probably film, and a way to remove that sort of fat cat Hollywood producer gold chains guy. You have to have sex with him or you won't get into the movie kind of part of our world, where the artist can actually go straight to the market and completely bypass that whole sort of 20th century infrastructure. You can see the future coming here at 100 miles an hour. It's quite remarkable. Some good, some not so good, but it is our new reality. So, the one thing I would strongly suggest everybody do is just make darn sure to pay your taxes. I mean, the mafia, they want their cut. As long as you pay your taxes, and even if they decide they're going to raise the taxes a bit, probably it's in your best interest to try and just fly underneath the radar screen as much as possible through this. Hopefully you as traders are making a lot of money here, because I can tell you just one trade I had today, I was booking greater than 10x returns on the trade idea. That doesn't normally happen. We're in obviously a funny environment here. Make hay while the sun's shining. You might as well take advantage of this, but just make darn sure that Big Brother is kept relatively happy here, and you should be able to just ride through this storm. But I'll tell you, man, society is changing at 100 miles an hour here, and perfectly to the 1%'s desires. With regard to the broader market, like I said, there's a lot of sort of funny business going on in the options market, and we've got this big options expiry, and we also have a celestial event around here that I find markets like to pivot through. And we also have things like Ides of March, and I even told the community today in my rant that, unfortunately my wife passed away through the Ides of March, and this is her 10-year anniversary. So I'm having a very, very difficult time right now. And unfortunately, I'm taking it out on people that I'm working with and stuff. But anyway, it is what it is. My apologies to them. Try and keep my professionalism as much as possible through this. Illustration of how silly this market is. And it, you don't even really see it on this deck. But I don't know, take your pick. What do you feel like trading? Do you feel like trading some crazy warrants? Bang! Got off a killer double on this move here today. I mean, is this normal? Are you supposed to be able to make money this quickly in the market? That's ridiculous. So, and how ironic, right? It's right back to where we sold some yesterday. Man, if you don't have your open orders working, you better you better get them working. And here's a really cool one. But again, it speaks to the stupidity of this market state. I'm a big fan of Feigenbaum and chaos theories, although I think for the purposes of the stock market, maybe we should start calling these like beamish levels or something like this, because I can already start to see this stuff being, bastardized and sold and touted throughout the internet, kind of like the way that little old lady concept was totally carved apart and used for people's own particular personal interests. So, use Feigenbaum, use chaos theory, try and do it correctly, because I do see a lot of sort of funny interpretations. But, here's a great example of one that I had, and I was actually pretty pleased with myself if I can find the damn symbol. Because normally I'm like, sell half on a double, just keep it nice and simple. But this one I was like, you know what? Let's get a little creative. Let's work our order at Feigenbaum level and just see what happens. So here's a crazy one. I'm mining blockchain cryptocurrencies. Obviously with crypto happy, this one's going to do okay. And we had actually two foggy levels. This big honking one and then this little one. They're basically W's. And I thought it was fascinating studying this last night, how we had two foggy levels. And really, I think this was the big magnet, because I think this is the bottom that this thing bottomed off of, up at 84. And what was so fascinating about this morning, I don't even think the company directors or the market makers, I don't even think they had any choice in this. It was incredible to watch how this thing opened up. You see the foggy level 84 there. So you can see that this thing was just relentless. It was unstoppable, and it was incredible watching the algorithms trading away. I don't think they had any control over it. You saw like hundreds of thousands on the offer, and boom, they just got blown through. And like I was saying to people on the site today, I mean, who's the idiot coming in and buying 100,000 shares of this stock here? That's stupidity. Look at what it's done already since. I mean, ugh. I think this is just the math of the universe took over, and look at my fill there. Oh, I'm so proud of that. So I'm actually, the high of this was 84. Look at that, right on the goddamn nose. And then it just collapsed. So I made damn sure to have that order at like 81. I wanted to see what would happen. And frankly speaking, as it was going up here, I was like, there's no way this thing's going to trade there. And sure enough, doink, doink. That's incredible. So what can I say? Is Brian a happy camper today? You tell me. I mean, obviously my account balance is thanking me for my participation in the market. Look at that, eh? Jesus, that's incredible. Would I buy something like this here? No bloody way. And I even told people, I hate to say it, I'm probably going to just buy this stock right back at exactly where I got in to begin with. I mean, that's the irony of capitalism. It's probably also, too, a really good commentary on the NFT space. People, of course, are paying just ridiculous prices. They don't care about gas. I don't think it's a good idea to chase, and even in the NFT space, I do not think it's a good idea to chase. And I even suggested, build your sort of list, a basket of NFTs that you do want to buy, and then when everything settles down, maybe in a year or two, and nobody's interested in this space again, and it's only the crypto hardcore people that are still here. That's probably when you're going to find that a lot of those NFTs that were just doing this kind of stuff through the bull, they start Wing out and away we go. So if you want to trade those NFTs, don't think this is really the best environment. But having said that, they're super hot. I mean, we had on Colin come in yesterday. It was sort of like right in the ground trenches in crypto, and he's just fucking jacked to the nines. So this space is still very, very hot, and it's trading on momentum. It's trading on hopium. It's trading on fluffium. I don't care what you call it. COVID kind of world. I got a feeling that this is probably going to last through the summer here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of short-term dip. Things do. I mean, it's interesting to see the crypto stocks not really powering higher. Um, I guess the way I look at this is, trend continuation. Oh, maybe, but gee whiz, look at that res. Oh, at some point, the piper will be paid, but there's no, and it's the same message I've had with you guys for a while now. I mean, really, this is exactly where I should be long, and I was long. Sold some here like an idiot. Sold everything here like an idiot. Brian, should have you maybe sold half on a double, and then just keep selling every time the damn thing doubles? It's worked for you in the past. Why would that change now? No, I'm going to outsmart the market. Market outsmarted me, that's for sure. So, there are some bright spots. And, of course, Brian, crazy warrants and, penny stocks. This is a very friendly market state. It shouldn't surprise that we're banging out doubles in this. As for, the big markets, I don't know. I mean, can you justify coming in and buying an asset like that there? No. Does that mean that this thing won't just keep churning its way higher? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But to a guy like me, this has got trouble written all over it. And, ironically enough, we'll probably have to come back down and trade into these gaps at some point down the road. So she's starting to look very risky again. I also noticed, too, bonds. Jesus, the bonds just can't buy a friend in here. That cannot be a good sign. We were kind of waiting, though, and kind of anticipating that, the Fed wasn't going to do anything to support the market until they got that free money. Right? Now that the bankers have the free money, what the hell? We'll lend you, 10 to 1 reserve ratio. We don't care. We set the rules, so we'll do whatever the hell we want. But there was no way that they were going to do that without the free money. They lend out based on the U.S. Treasuries that they own, and they use the U.S. Treasuries as collateral. So they're just going to lend out against that collateral. It's not the Fed's money, and there's no way the bankers are going to spend their money. So we had kind of postulated that, here was sort of our 1-year anniversary of the insanity up top. Could we get sort of a 1-year coast-to-coast kind of thing in here? And what would it take to actually get the Fed to act? And actually, I think this is exactly the scenario. Because in essence now, the Fed's got all the ammunition they want. The market, the speculator part of the market is coming in, and they're shorting this. And this might gain some inertia, and we might get going. But this would be the perfect scenario that the market like gaps open Monday morning. It's pandemonium. It's absolute chaos. And in comes the Fed bazooka. Boom! So that's sort of what I'm thinking should happen here. Does this take place before that options expiry? I don't know. That's a tough one. But this is sort of the thesis that we've had all along here. I'm still liking that. They've taken the fluff out of this market. Interest rates are higher. The Fed has said don't expect interest rates to stay high. This is a short-term thing. So could they come in, especially maybe against a test of this key low? They wash this key low, which is right down. Actually, it's just a little bit lower than where we are now. Run a bunch of stops. The shorts are all like, it's going to zero. And boom, in comes the Fed. I could totally see that. The one market that had me scratching my head is, I don't know whether the public can really afford these pump prices now for things like gasoline. Now, this seasonal trade goes by February, sell middle of May. So here we are, the middle of March. Could this thing work its way higher again? Yeah, sure, why not? Tell you, though, that's a hell of a long way it's come. I guess maybe, I don't know whether these numbers are the same. They don't look it, do they? Maybe this is like a log scale? No? But I could see this market looks ripe to pull back here. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That might have been things like alt ABCDs that I drew there, but I think that's actually your natural ABCD area. So, what would be really interesting to look here is to see whether we have divergences starting to develop in the momentum indicators. And then, of course, if those divergences are confirmed and you got your big fat M up here, well, that would correspond perfectly with that sort of, 1 year coast to coast stock market top, bond market bottom, and of course, energy, the bonds will love if this damn crude oil could M out here and start to work its way back down. Because half of the reason I think that the bonds did fall as hard as they did is because, hey, rising crude oil prices, this is inflationary. Every single business, their cost of doing business is rising day by day by day. They have no choice. They have to buy the gasoline for the cars. They have to pay the electricity. So, awfully one-directional. Sure looks like it's overdue for a correction, and that would, in my opinion, support the idea of a bond market counter-trend rally. And like I said, maybe the Fed doesn't even have to do anything. Maybe the crude market can break on its own. The S&P guys, they get their fill up at 4,000, then the market tanks, tops, starts correcting, and all of this happens on its own. But I got a funny feeling the Fed's probably going to come in and do their thing here in the bond market shortly. Junior stocks, like I showed you, some totally kick-ass killer trades. And most of the market kind of wishy-washy. Same thing with crypto. Alt market, some of the alts have just gone absolutely bananas here. Good portion of them kind of sideways. Like if we just pull up our sheet here, looks like this is our crypto sheet. Yeah, some up, some down. Kind of mixed bag. There are little names I've been touting forever. Like this is just my sentimental favorite. This thing's got money written all over it. It's ridiculous. It's just really a question of when. Interesting to watch the DeFi space though. Geez, actually a little bit of selling coming in there, right? So I don't know how excited I am. Has the NFT craze peaked out? I don't think so. Interesting to see. It's fascinating that Bitcoin here cannot break out through this high. That surprised me. Again, it's probably somebody's agenda here. But probably the way that I would look at corn, and actually probably better just to use this. We have a rule if we start to see M's in RSI. First M says that the bull should stop. You can see the M over here in RSI. Well, at this point, you probably would have been best just to cool your jets. Oh, but Brian, I missed this rally. Oh, you're right. Fuck, that was a good idea. Maybe better leave that alone. Then notice W comes in. Okay, well, now the bear has got to cool their jets. And then you can see we came down, test that low. Created divergences. Remember that German guy got all absolutely insane bullish ape shit at this point. Hats off to him. I guess it was the right call. Kind of like this W resolution through here. Set up a nice midpoint, and sure enough, boom. You can almost go A, B, C, D. Here we are, right up against these old highs. And remember about a week or two ago, I had said it sure felt like the corn was sort of somewhere around 45 grand, 40 to 45,000. And then on Bitcoin, same thing. I was thinking sort of 50 to 55,000 as sort of your top and your bottom end of your range. Dips below, dips above. It looks similar. We haven't broken yet, so this might turn into one of these kind of situations where if this thing goes in W's and we start Wing out in price, well, you probably got a half decent signal there. It's just off. There's no way in hell I can come in on the buy side here. That's ridiculous. It's just a question of, well, do we have to start maybe thinking that this party needs some time to clean up? If you sell like a mad rush over the next couple hours into the close, selling, that'll probably confirm that M. And then, the bull run here is done. But don't put a fork in it just yet. I don't know which way this thing's going to go. It could very easily still go up from here. Interestingly, the sort of daily charts, the higher time frames, they've had these bullish setups working for a while now. Where I think they just sort of had their moves stopped to scratch level, right? That's this funny little trade setup called the bot that I like to trade. There you go. So the way I'm looking at this right now is you had a move stop to scratch level hit on this double bottom breakout. So worst case scenario, market pulls back into the original buy level, and you just say, look at, I don't know whether this thing's still a bull. I'm just going to hop off and just cool my jets. You know, maybe you get M's in that RSI study that sort of say, you know what, we better just cool our jets. But for the time being, if you did strap this on, you're just sitting there. Your stop now is at scratch. You shouldn't get hurt on the trade, and you're just twiddling your thumbs. And yeah, I hate to say it, but the target is still $72,000 to the upside there. So I don't really think that there's a top in here anywhere in sight. What I would say, and like I said before, you know, if this paints a big red ugly candle and then beep, next candle we open up lower, well, that's a fractal top. That'll mean that that M in RSI is fired. That'll mean that there's something wrong with the crypto story heading into the weekend. But I don't see that right now. So we'll see how it goes. You know, speaking of Ethereum and, you know, CryptoKitties, NFTs, all that stuff. Are they getting a little tired here? Ironically enough, this is actually exactly where they, if they were going to get tired, this is where they should get tired. So there is the reload zone. If it, at the very least, you should expect that when we get into red boxes, okay, are we going to see a little bit of back and forth? It would be healthy. It would be natural. It would be normal. And now maybe we're going to set up something like, if this can hold in here, I don't know, maybe something like an AB CD to take us to new highs. You don't know. I mean, anything can happen in this space. We do have a fractal top. Ooh, look how close it was to firing here. That's a damn ugly top, right? If we probably go down to like an hourly, it just looks like a mess. Well, there you go. So it's a triple top. 1, 2, 3 highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. So technically that is working. I would imagine things like RSI probably are telling you to cool your jets. How are we going to do that? Well, we'll just go RSI. RSI has M's. Holy Jesus. Look how man, you want to watch these videos and go, okay, well, I want to get some value out of this. Can you see overbought? RSI reading above 70 is considered overbought. M comes in right here. At the very least, you should just cool your jets. Oh, but I'm going to miss the bull, Brian. No, you didn't. You know, it's sort of like, now bigger M's and bigger M's and bigger M's. There's nothing bullish here. You know, if you're going to be trading this stuff, and really, you know, for the free videos, it's probably not pertinent, but probably a nice breakout above here. If you could maybe somehow get a rally up on the other side and break out, then okay, we're back into business. But, you know, considering that was a new low there, remember your MM crypto guy, the reason why he got so excited was that he saw a higher low in RSI. So as it stands right now, there really isn't anything bullish here at all to do off the lower time frames. And you just got to let that clean up. You know, like traders got to trade if you were thinking that, you're thinking that trend continuation trade. Ideally, I'd like to see at least a 33% correction here to set up the bot and that kind of talk. Boom. You can see we're not quite there yet. I mean, maybe we consolidate off of this low and you could trade that little formation up. That's difficult, probably very advanced, probably not really relevant for this YouTube audience. But regardless, you know, if we do start setting up bots, you know, check out your momentum indicators. This is a great example where you'd have location, you'd have indicator confirmation, and then the final piece is you probably want to get some sort of market structure. We have a great little trading setup that we use on the site called the LJ. Although she doesn't actually use it anymore, so I don't know whether we should change the name. And actually, I'm kind of thinking moving forward in my life, I'm going to stop using people's names for these setups and start just calling them Beamish this, Beamish that, Beamish this, Beamish that. I've had enough of this being polite and generous to the world. I'm just kidding. Anyway, point of the matter here is if you are playing this on momentum, we have a simple rule. You really want to get a W on the other side of this trend line. Got to get on the other side of this mess here. And give me the W on the other side. As it stands right now, this is going to take a lot of work. What probably happens here is we do something like that. So I could see traders, through the weekend, they might get a W here, which sets up the trade into that trend line. So I could definitely see something like that develop. And actually, that's pretty much that crypto kind of trade that he was getting all excited about on the Bitcoin there a week or so ago. So let your RSI studies go into divergence, wait for that confirmed divergence break, and then on this event, and really I think the trade was there, you're hunting your longs. And really all this is just a surge back up against the, well, I'm not even quite sure what this line is here. I don't see it drawn off any structure. But in essence, if I was using that trend line thesis, we'll just, hijack this trend line here. So break out above the trend line, try and hunt W bullish structure over here. I don't really like W's that come in through trend lines, but I could say down, up, down. Did we hold those lows? I don't know. Break out through the top, away you go. It's a bit tough. Nonetheless, this W, which I think is what really is driving this current rally, that probably produced a nice little 2-to-1 risk reward. Let's see. Boobity-boo. Boobity-boo. Boobity-shmoo. So anybody who did take that W, good looking RSI signal, got divergence, got structure, got location, 1 high, 2 highs, 3 highs, probably even have bought levels. That's what this line is. The little slick traders just bang out, sell half at 2-to-1 risk objective, stop to scratch on remaining, and let's just see where the hell this takes us. So bot traders, as I had mentioned there earlier, they're long from this level, and their stop is at scratch now. The trader momentum traders got to trade W's, bottom ends of ranges. I think they got their 2-to-1. Their stop on remaining is at scratch. And right now, they have no risk, either of them. If the market pulls back, they're both going to walk away at scratch on whatever they got left on the books. But there's no M here. If this thing just keeps painting higher highs and higher lows, look out. That's probably the way that I would look at the market right now. Okay, I don't know whether you got any value out of that today. Sure hope so. We were having fun watching Monty Python videos and singing about lumberjacks. I was very, very pleased with the community participation today. Would love to see TRI move in that direction. Think Sjord is putting some basic tools in place that will give value to basic site membership for mining data from the market. And if anything, what I'm kind of thinking and I'm hoping and I'm seeing is maybe it's time for Brian to slowly just move out and just fade off into the background. So probably over the next 6-8 months, you're going to be hearing more and more of that kind of talk as I sort of unwind from sort of the leadership role of this site and just let TRI become the thing that it was naturally meant to become. Okay, everybody, that's my rant for today. Like I said, sure hope you got some value out of that. I suppose we'll have a fun little session on the weekend in the broiler chickens. So PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.